And just like that, I did the video on Cuomo, I think it was maybe an hour, 2 hours ago. There is a seventh woman that has now come forward that is also pointing the finger at Cuomo for inappropriate behavior, at the very least behavior that was making her greatly uncomfortable, where the governor, once again, following the trend, can't keep his hands to himself. It's, I think part of the problem that Cuomo is going to have is that these stories are basically the same. They're not overly dramatic. They're stuff that you would kind of could see happening in regards to somebody being sexually harassing, but not necessarily. I'm saying this in a weird way. I guess my point is this kind of casual harassment that takes place under normal circumstances with moments where it trends into assault. That's what it seems like. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what it seems like. Where woman after woman after woman, many of which who work with him, where he would be very inappropriate in the things that he would say and the way that he would have his hands on him. One woman at a wedding party, he puts his hands on her. She pushes his hands away. He's like, that's aggressive. That's aggressive. It's aggressive that I push your hand from me. I didn't want your hand on my body, so I had every right to get your hand off of me. And many of these people report just being stunned that the governor will behave in a way like this, in such a way. Well, here we go, another woman. Now, she published an op-ed on Friday in New York Magazine, former Capitol reporter Jessica Bakeman. Now, the woman before this, meaning the sixth woman, her story came out. She basically broke down watching Cuomo said that he hadn't touched anybody. She was still working, apparently, at the Capitol, if I'm not mistaken, where her supervisor, notified the authorities. The governor's office contacted, if I'm not mistaken, the cops, because, again, you had to report her story. So that's kind of where that story came in. It wasn't even something where she came forward on. It was something that somebody came forward on her behalf. In this case, she's coming out reporting it herself. So former Capitol reporter Jessica Bakeman alleges that Cuomo inappropriately touched her. She describes two separate occurrences. So in one, she's like, Cuomo's hands have been on my body, my arms, my shoulders, the small of my back, my waist, often enough in late 2014 that I didn't want to go to the holiday party he was hosting for the Albany Press Corps at the executive mansion. This is what she wrote. She described one encounter where Cuomo held her hand and her waist while indicating to a photographer that he wanted us to pose for a picture before jokingly saying to her, I'm sorry, am I making you uncomfortable? I thought we were going steady in front of her colleagues at the wedding party. I stood there in stunned style and shocked and humiliated, but of course, that was the point, Bakeman wrote. I never thought the governor wanted to have sex with me. It wasn't about sex, it was about power. He wanted me to know that I was powerless, that I was small, that I was weak, and that I did not deserve what relative power that I had. A platform to hold him accountable for its words and actions. He wanted me to know that he could take away my dignity at any moment with an inappropriate comment or hand on the waist. She says Cuomo was not only state official who behaved inappropriately towards her. Look, there are times where a person does something like this, where it's about power, where the person just wants to emasculate or, for that point, dominate the situation. There are other points where it could be actually about sex. And it's hard to honestly know in some of these cases with Cuomo. And honestly, it could be about both. Many of the other women who Cuomo assaulted had a very specific type. Young, attractive, and she's young. She's attractive. She fits the mold of the other women. So I wouldn't necessarily jump to the conclusion that he didn't necessarily want to have sex with you. Very likely he could have. And also wanted to basically take away your dignity stuff is strong. But I get what you're saying. It's a power play. He wanted to show dominance in that particular situation. And the way he was doing it through these kind of sexual overtures. I get that. And he does, again, this is the behavior that is being expressed over and over and over and over again. The thing is, some of this behavior was overtly sexual. Saying, can I kiss you? Didn't seem to be looking for dominance. It seemed to be he wanted to actually kiss her. And in the other cases where he groped somebody, well, it seemed to be that he actually wanted something out of that groping. So I hope you get my point. It's not necessarily as straightforward as he just wanted dominance. It could have been he wanted some ass also. Look, this is problematic. I've given you my take on this. I thought Cuomo was guilty when he started shifting his story. And he has multiple problems at this point. He is going to be radioactive as a political figure. How do you get anything done when you're radioactive as a political figure? And this is a drip, drip, drip. Some of these cases are going to be borderline. Meaning, would she have ever come forward if Cuomo and these other women didn't come forward? And it's not so much that it was inappropriate. It was inappropriate. But was it inappropriate in a way that she would have given it a pass? I hope you understand what I mean. Where it's, in her mind, this is borderline. But the moment that other women coming out, it's, this is no longer borderline for me. This is, he shouldn't have did this. Meaning, it's drawing other women to the case that wouldn't have necessarily come forward under normal circumstances. This could be a pretty bad drip for Cuomo, where I don't know how many of these women he's had. I mean, how long has he been in politics? How long has he thought this particular behavior was okay? How long has he acted with impunity with this particular behavior? Well, at this point, it's catching up with him. So, resign or hang around to get impeached? I don't know. This is the 7th woman, and that doesn't look good. Like, share, and subscribe. I mean, it's not much. I've just followed the story, so this was the latest in the story. I figured I'd give it to you.